We're going back. We're going back. I'll delete this one. We're chilling. Okay, let me see. There's a new one. What's up? That is disappointing. Let's switch to a different account. We're live again. Since they suspended my live stream. That is disappointing. Classic YouTube. We're back. I'm not gonna let them. We're not gonna let them stop the live stream. Well, I guess we'll go for a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't even know what happened there. I mean, I know what happened, but what a silly thing, right? I'm only giving them like more publicity. I'm not even like monetizing this. I'm gonna make that not public though. Just give me a second. I'm trying to see what happened. Sorry, I'm just trying to see like what happened here with the other stream. It's here. I guess people will still be able to watch it. I just don't want to get a copyright thing on it. It's pretty funny. It's okay. It's part of it. We're back. We're back on schedule. Let me just check on something here. All right, we're good. We're good. I was just checking. I mean, maybe I'll get a copyright something later, but whatever. I try to keep everyone entertained here, but I guess, again, the tennis gods don't like it. Ooh, do you think it's likely or unlikely this is the best Carlos and Sinner match that will ever play? I mean, it's a very high bar that they set up for their first final. I just hope they play like a ton of them. That's to me, it's just like them in the finals, like Roger, Rafa, Novak did. It's good for the sport as much as people like to see new faces. In any sport, you like the rivalries. Like the NBA is a little dead right now because it's not LeBron and Steph anymore. It used to be just like 5-6 years of LeBron and Steph dueling. Like we like to see rivalries, and I think if they can just keep playing in finals all the time, like even if it's Masters finals, like whatever, it's just great for the sport. Someone said I started my tennis journey at 18. I have faith I can do it, but do we think it's possible to be pro in 6 years? If you go play pickleball, it is. Tennis, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a dream killer. You can go out there and do your best, and that's what everyone's doing. That's what I'm doing. I have no expectations to be playing at the level that these guys are playing. But tennis is a sport like most of mainstream sports that like if you want to make it, you have to start as a child, and you have to kind of go through all the phases. There's no like really way to work around that. I am curious to see like how long of a career these guys will have nowadays, like because they're so explosive, the physicality is so big. Obviously, like everyone always said like Rafa was gonna be like done by 30 because he was, I remember earlier in his career, everyone was like, he's no chance he's gonna be able to play like that. his entire career. But like I said in the other stream, like that he evolved. He started playing more aggressively, more closer to the baseline, and he just got better at doing things that he knew he couldn't get away with just running once he was 30. So he evolved. So I think they all evolve, but there's a limit. You see that like that 37, 38 age, it's like when things just like go downhill. So um, the nose tape is just like they sent it to me, like, and it actually really helps me. So there's no copying. I think a lot of people are gonna start wearing it. Everyone's just trying to find an edge and breathing better. It's actually really good. I would hope Fonseca is like the new guy, like the third wheel. I think having three is an interesting thing because then he ebbs and flows. Because the problem is when you only have two, one guy gets injured, one guy gets like, he's winning too much and he gets mentally a little tired. So having the third or even like a fourth like guy right there that can push them is always an important thing. Having two, unless they're both like in their like playing great, it can be a little, I wouldn't say boring, but a little like this is a little tricky because you might not have these great matches. But if you have a third, there's always a possibility that two of them are playing unbelievable. Yeah, I'm not worried about Yannick at all. He lost this. He's gonna become even better after this. Yeah, he is. He's a guy's a machine at getting better. He's only been getting better the last 4 years. That's all he does. Just get better. Just get better. Keep getting better. That's all he does. I'm just there for vibes. I can never match that. Like by the third hour of that intensity, they would have had to like airlift me out of that stadium. Yeah, there's someone younger than them. It's not someone that is already on tour. That's going to be the guy. It's going to be someone younger. It could be Fonseca. It could be somewhere else. But it's going to be someone younger that joins in. Yeah, good stuff. Everyone kind of came back in. Did I see Winston here? No. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Any other um takes that you guys heard in the last 24 hours about the match? I'm sure there's like some. Again, I'm trying not to like over follow this stuff. I know Roddick does this thing every after every day. But any other funny storylines that have come out of this that could be interesting? If I could bagel Roddick right now, no chance. I think Roddick like in a like fully Roddick's not that old. He would be able to like um he probably would take me out honestly. Like if he's like trains a little bit. Mancic is great, but I don't know. There's guys that you look at and you're like, wow, these guys are different. I don't know if I look at Mancic, it's like, oh, he has like this potential to like really do well here, a couple times a year. But there's these guys who just dominate it. I'm not being humble. I'm telling you, like these older guys, like he's not that old. He retired early. If he just like trained and I don't know his physical condition right now, but he feels physically okay. Like when I'm in my 40s, like for one match, like I'm still probably gonna be able to play a very high level, like just for a match, not for a tournament, not for a season, but if I'm just like well practiced and in decent shape, I'd be able to play a great match. So a guy who's number one in the world, who's not even he's maybe 40 at this point, he is fine. And with his serve, the serve percentage thing, I think it's mostly legs. like you guys have to understand. Like I just played a match that was like incredibly hot. My legs were kind of shot from the week. Basically, the entire week was super hot and humid. I'm not necessarily that high of like a serve percentage guy, anyways, and that needs to get better. But in that semis, like it got to a point where it's like I feel like I don't have any legs to hit my first serve, and you're just like you're trying to like still hit them, and they're not going in, and you keep forcing them. And I think for Sinner, it's like clearly serving is not the most natural thing for him, like right because he switched his serve so often. Now he finally I think has like a great motion that he kind of stuck with it, but he clearly isn't something that's super natural to him. So I think he will. He'll still get better at that, but like once you kind of lose your legs a little bit, especially late in the match, it's like it's so easy to like you think you're hitting them good, but it's just a few inches that maybe you're not getting up as much, and they just don't go in. Clay lost. I might have to take a picture of that. Just threw shade at Clay here. I'm taking a picture of that. That's funny. I'm gonna send that to Clay. Yeah, like the center serve motion, you can tell, right? It's not like that natural. There are certain motions. It's like kind of like what Rafa always had for his career. His serve was never very smooth, and he figured out how to be effective with it. But it was always changing. Novak has to be the greatest like serve change, like serve progression of all time. A guy who like had a very like unreliable kind of serve. He still won because he was just good, but a serve that was technically kind of flawed and unreliable, and he sort of kept getting better. And nowadays, like any podcast that you hear, like, oh, you've played Novak, what's it like playing him? They're like, his serve is a joke. Everyone says it. It's like hits the dime, hits the spots, like knows how to serve, like when you're back, when you're forward, like. And that's like that's not easy. Serving, it's like I've always believed that serving is it's kind of like you either have it or you just have to work really hard for it. And he was able to like go from like that scoopy serve that he had to just like a perfect motion, a perfectly reliable motion, a great second serve, an aggressive second serve. That has to be. And so like if Sinner is gonna follow that progression, he seems like he's getting there faster. Then that's gonna be it's gonna be a problem. But it's still, you can tell, it's not like his favorite shot. Fala galera do Brasil, tudo certo? Someone's talking about consistent jumping on a server. I think sometimes you want to over jump. Maybe like because you want to jump so much, you bend your knees too much, and you don't have the strength to get up again. Sometimes, honestly, like maybe try to jump less, but extend yourself more, get bigger. Sometimes people are trying to jump a lot, but they get small. You want to get big on the serve, so that's something that you'd have to keep an eye out for. But I'm not going to give coaching advice to people that I haven't seen play. I actually don't think his motion is weird, right? Like I actually think Sinner's motion is good now. Like it's a good flowy motion, but you can tell it's not like it's not as natural as like it comes for certain people that just like they serve and you're just like they just get it, they just understand it. For some people, it becomes a little more. Uh, you can tell there's more thought process in the whole stroke. Carlos's serve is also going to get better. It's just Carlos is a freak of an athlete. He's able to still hit like 135 at his frame, and but it's still, again, not a serve that you can tell. Like, his kick is a joke, and his action on the serve, he can create a lot of action. But like, I think his serve is also gonna get like better as we go. Yeah, serving seems like very second nature. Yeah, there are guys who are 6'6". There's like, how is it that you can't serve at 6'6", right? And there's some certain people like, a guy like Roger always seemed like he could serve. I mean, he was my height, and he was one of the greatest servers of all time. So, well, Brendan, no strips, high strips. I have a link in my description somewhere. So not here, but in other videos. So use my link if you buy high from high strips. Yeah, it was a baseline final. I think that's what it made it good. That it wasn't like a huge just like serve plus one final. It actually made it more entertaining. We all love Federer Glaze, like because he's just the goat. I don't care what anyone says. This guy's the greatest. Crypto moving. Is crypto moving? Let's go crypto. Then holding. Just be holding strong, not doing anything, but this thing's like just are not going anywhere. Come on. Need to make some money, man. To pay my bills. Power on the serve is a tricky one because I think it comes from a lot of places. I think each person individually has, you know, different. It's obviously a lot from the legs, a lot from like the technique. Some people look more effortless than the others. Like you look at Ben Shelton, like he doesn't look effortless, right? He looks like he's putting a fuck ton of effort into that serve, but he's such a freak of an athlete that like everything comes together nicely. I think to me personally, serving it's like that. It's if I don't have a very fast of an arm, just like like Carlos has a very lively shoulder and arm. He can get away with technically not being perfect and still hit a great serve. But for most players, it's like it depends. It's either having a very loose hand, it's very good action on the body, like being able to jump high, but just like that connection, like that momentum into the ball and hitting it clean. Like not the energy doesn't get wasted anywhere. That's the big thing. But again, I'm not a serve expert by any means. You guys can look at my stats. I try my best, and it's gotten a lot better. But it is tricky. It is tricky. Damn, back to 110K. Let's go, dude. What else? What else we got here? Yeah, Roger serve was very. It was not just placed well, but he had like he bended right. So he would hit T. He could hit that with a little slice, with a little flatness, with like a little kick to it. The same with the wide. The same like so. Every spot he could hear multiple ways, and the same with Sampras. He could hit it. It's not just like about hitting like you can see that with the greatest servers, like with Kyrgios, with guys like that. They're able to hit the same spots, but in different ways. So like they'll hit you with a 225 down the tee, but with a 185 down the tee, and you might be ready for that 225, and he hits you with the 185. And you catch it in front and you miss, or it comes a little bit too high. It's like pitching. It's like anyone who's a good pitcher like would understand that. I'm not a good pitcher, so like for a lot of players, you're just trying to make a good serve, but you add that level of complexity to it, where it's like, oh, I want to go flat wide on the ad, or I can like kind of like go short kick into that, or I can go like. You know what I mean? Like most of us can do all of those, but like to be able to execute them just like use all of those all the time. I mean, Roger was like the master at that, and Pete were masters at that, and I think like Andy was really good at that. Like just like, oh, you're expecting a 220 here, like I'm gonna like throw a ton of action into that. It's gonna come at you at like 195, but then it's gonna bounce like crazy. So where you thought you're gonna return, you're returning like 2 feet away from that, and so that's the main thing. That's the hardest like part. Of like great servers, it's not that you can just read them if they're going T or wide or body, but it's like which one is coming. So that's like a tricky part. You don't have to bend the knee that much. It's like as long as you, it's like where can you be at where you can get up to the ball. Kyrgios was like he's a tall guy, he has a lively arm, and he's like going more into the court versus up. Different type of serve. Yeah, like returning a serve that is like 220, 230. If you know it's where it's going, like it's and how it's coming to you, it's actually not that difficult. The harder part is to actually if it comes with a lot of different actions. So it's like if you know it's coming like right at your waist and you have a feel for it, they're not that difficult. But when you don't know where they're going, and then you add the different like spin and action to the ball, then it's very difficult. Anyway, so this is not really a French Open final thing anymore, but we talked about it already in Nogent, so maybe we can talk about a little longer about different stuff. What do you got for no? What did you say for Novak serve? All that stuff like Novak relaxed his wrist so much. That's just again it's you trying to figure out the right feeling for yourself. Novak obviously has a very loose wrist, so like that drop of the racket, he has a very heavy racket, so that like kind of drop of the racket relaxes the wrist, and then he's able to like not have to maybe force it so much. It feels like he used to like force it a lot from different parts. Having a live hand on the serve is a very important thing. Again, some other players don't look like they're so relaxed, but he found that way to like to be the easiest way for him to create a motion that is replicable and efficient. There's no right or wrong. It's just like it's a game of trying to figure it out. You have to try to figure out what works for you. What can make something that is not as natural become a little bit more natural progressively. Yeah, the ATP has evolved a lot. Someone's saying here that someone said that before there were clowns under the top 10, but now it adapted the rank. I wouldn't say that anyone that has gotten to top 10 was really good, right? Like, so let's talk about this sort of ranking depth. And I've talked about this at nauseum already, where I find that there's very little difference between a guy 300 and a guy 80. You know, like anyone can beat anyone at any point. And I think 10, 15, 20, you go past that even there were a lot of guys that were probably top 50, 60, 70 that I don't think nowadays would have made it that high. That's a big thing. The level of like, I'm traveling in challengers. These guys have like, coach, physio, like their travel. The professionalism is off the chart everywhere. Because everyone knows that they have to do all those things to be able to win. And so I think the problem is like the majority of people still view maybe the guy who's 50, 60, 70, 100, 150, 200 as just a clown, like just a bad player. But I think even players now, they're starting to feel it. You see like Zverev loses to a few guys like who are 40, 50, 30. Like used to be like the guy who's 2, 3, 4, he's not going to really lose to the guy 30, but now there's a way more parity. So for a guy to actually get through a tournament and win the way Carlos and Sinner are going to have to win, they will have to play better from the get-go. And so I think that's the big thing. And it's going to be continue to get better. The average tennis player, at least top level tennis player, every level, but top level, as we talk about, let's say, 50 to 300, 350, that average level, that medium level is a lot higher. I don't think the top level is higher. I think there's always going to be special guys, top 5, top 10, winning Grand Slams. But the medium guy, so the guy who you have to beat in the first round now, it's a lot tougher. I think the guy who has to win in the second round to get through and win the Grand Slam, it's a lot tougher. So for someone like, you see at Roland Garros, right? Like Fritz lost early, Medvedev lost early. Um, what was it? Casper lost early. They all lost early, and so because like if you sleep a little bit and you're not playing your best, and you're playing a guy who's 57 in the world, and that guy's playing good, you're out. You're gonna lose. Doesn't matter if you're 5, 6, 10 in the world. And so that's the main thing. That's just the reality of the sport that's the reality of the sport that we play now. And that's in every sport. I've talked about this too. Like in every sport, the average, like the median player is better. In the NBA, like look how many players are really good. You don't have just like a guy who's there because he's tall. If you're just tall, like you're not gonna make it. You have to be skillful. And in every sport, you like the median skill level is so high now. Now I don't know how long how far we can keep pushing that, but that's the sensation I get just from being on the tour again. I've even after 5 years. Like everyone has good fundamentals, right? There's like you're not playing anybody. It's just like there's like a clear like just play to the back and or just this and that like, and you see guys that were top 50, 60 who have dropped down to the challenger level, and they struggle to win down there because it's hard, and so that's just the way it is. I just like for me it's like for an untrained eye, if you put two guys 50, two guys 20, two guys 100, two guys 350, like rallying and practicing, you're gonna be like, I don't know who's who here. Like someone is just like gonna watch. It's like, oh, this is great tennis. Who in the top 10 can even challenge Sinner and Alcaraz? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, depending on the circumstance and all that, but them at their best are like at a different level now. And so, will they be able to continue to replicate that? Like, right, obviously they've won the last six slams, which is a big thing, right? That means consistently like winning, kind of like what Roger did and Novak did and Federer did. And so, can they continue to do that? There's always going to be a little dark horse that comes in, sneaks one out, but like, can they continue to do that? That would be interesting. I think a guy like Musetti, just like he can make it to the semis, he can make it to the quarters, but once he gets those guys playing at their best, like in the semis or the final of the tournament, because at that point they're already playing good. It's one thing playing a best of three in the quarterfinals, like in Cincinnati, right? But playing in the semifinals of a slam, Carlos is already playing great or Sinner's already playing great. He's just not gonna have what it takes, I don't think, to beat them. And we've seen that through history. There were the last 20 years. There were always guys. There was the Murrays. Obviously, Murray maybe like a little overrated. Oh, not overrated, but like not in that category. Murray is like above that. But there were guys who were just like, oh, the Tsongas. They can beat Novak. They can maybe beat Rafa, but they're not gonna beat like all of them all of the time. You know what I mean? There's always like the Burditches, the guys like that were like they were great, but when it came down to Ferrer is the biggest example of that, right? Beat everybody, but as soon as you got to like the semis against Rafa at French Open, he was just not gonna win that. And so that's the tricky sort of like place to be there, where it's like you think you can basically beat everyone, but then you get those two or three guys who are just at a level of their own. All right, guys. It's almost 4 o'clock here. I need to get out of here because I gotta go take care of the dogs soon. But that was fun. That was fun. There was another live stream if you missed the first one because I was watching the highlights for French Open and it cut me off through because of whatever copyrights or whatever it is. But I think it's still out there. So if you're gonna watch that first The first one, go watch it. And I also posted a video today. Don't forget that. I don't know why I'm talking to this one. I'm talking to that one. I posted a video today. It was the final round of Geneva. So the qual is in Geneva. I think by the end of the week I'm gonna post a Marojan match as well, plus like some commentary on that. I want to take my time with that one because that will be an interesting match. Then we'll sort of move to this last couple of weeks here, Tyler, Little Rock. So I got 3 weeks at home here where I'm going to, or 2 weeks of training and then 1 week with the tournament really close by because I want to be, I need to train. I feel like physically I need to be better. I'm ever since getting injured, I haven't been able to like put in, the movement part. I haven't been able to like really work on my movement on court. And so I sort of like was winging it for the last month, I'd say, and trying to get in better shape as the tournaments progressed. And I think I have good enough like hand-eye and talent to like manage some matches, but eventually you do need the movement to go with like my ball striking, and that's what I feel like I'm at. So I'm gonna take a couple weeks to train and get back to a place where I feel like I'm moving well, and work on a couple things. Serve, I think there will be a racket change coming as well, so just need a little time at home for that, and then we'll attack sort of like late June, July. We'll be back to challengers and all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for coming out, and appreciate you all. Don't forget to go watch the latest video if you haven't yet. Go drop a comment as well and a like because it really helps me. So go check it out and stay tuned for some more content coming up. See you again.